today's video, I'm going to be sharing a few practical tips on getting started setting up online marketplaces. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Connor, and on this channel I help people who cannot code build their own online businesses with no-code tools like Webflow, Airtable, and Zapier. I also run Unicorn Factory, which is a freelance marketplace in New Zealand and in Canada. And in today's video, I want to answer a few questions that I've been getting over the last few weeks around strategies to setting up online marketplaces. So besides the Unicorn Factory, I've also helped a whole bunch of other founders set up online marketplaces. And one thing that I've noticed while working on those marketplaces is that at different stages, certain challenges come up that you can absolutely prepare for by doing just a little bit of groundwork before you actually start with the project build. So today's video is going to be all about all the different things that you can do before the actual project build starts that will significantly increase the odds of you getting traction, building momentum, and then ultimately monetizing your site. But I'm going to be making a whole bunch of videos on marketplace strategies. So if you are interested in it, then please be sure to be subscribed to the channel. Also, I would very much appreciate if you could leave a quick like on the video if you are interested in seeing more videos like this. But without further ado, let's get into the first point. So the first place that I would start off with is finding suppliers for your site. So when I started the Unicorn Factory in Canada, I actually went out and I researched a whole bunch of different freelancers just by Googling for certain services, certain skills. I had a look around different websites, and basically what you're doing here is you are finding a direct path to getting suppliers onto your site. Now, this is typically the first stumbling block that I see with people trying to set up marketplaces. They go through the process of building out their platform, they add all the features that they think they need, but then when it's time to onboard suppliers, they don't actually know how they can find them. So that is definitely something that you have to do before the project build, because you can end up in a situation where you don't actually know yourself how you can get suppliers onto your site effectively. And if you can't do that, you've spent a whole bunch of time and money on something that's just not going to work. So how you're going to find suppliers for your marketplace is going to differ from business to business. Uber, for example, they have a strategy where they actually go to petrol stations in cities that they have just launched in, because that's where taxi drivers hang out for their 30-minute breaks. I, with the Unicorn Factory Canada, basically just browsed through Google's and created a list of freelancers who had very nice professional looking websites. So you can kind of see from that that you're going to have to develop a system that works best for you, that will make it very easy for you to find enough potential suppliers for your site. So how many suppliers should you add to your list before you've done enough research? Now, I always operate under the assumption that out of everyone that I reach out to, between 5 and 10% will respond while I'm still in the MVP or pre-launch phase. And if I am aiming for having a minimum of 20 suppliers by launch, then I just need to do the maths and figure out that in order for me to get 20 suppliers onto my site, I'm going to have to reach out to 200 potential suppliers. And so you should just go ahead and do the same kind of maths for your marketplace, and that will then give you something to aim towards. Now, yes, going and doing the research for 200 different suppliers is tedious work, but there are a few things. Number one, you want it to be tedious, because if it's not tedious, then everyone will do it and it will be easier for people to enter that market. Second of all, this is a task that is very easily outsourceable. So if you go ahead and document the process that you go through when it comes to finding suppliers that might be interested in joining your site, film yourself, do it on Loom, and then outsource it to someone who can go and do that research for you. That will allow you to hit your 200 suppliers very, very easily. Okay, and now on to point number 2, and that is to research different channels that you can use in order to generate demand for your marketplace as soon as you're ready to launch. Okay, so this is another one that I see as a huge stumbling block, and this is something that I feel is so avoidable with a day's worth of research. What you want to do is you want to figure out where you're actually going to promote your marketplace as soon as you are ready to go. And so there are a whole bunch of different options. You can either use paid ads, Facebook ads, Google ads. Again, whatever your type of marketplace is will kind of determine what will work better. And then another area that you want to look into is what organic channels are going to work. So Are there any Facebook groups that you can post into? Are there any forums that have a big following around your niche market? And so what I highly recommend doing is coming up with a list of potentially 10 channels that you can use in order to generate awareness from your potential customers, who will then end up hiring suppliers off your site. Point number 3 is to take that prospecting list that you have built and now to reach out to the suppliers and ask them if they would be interested in joining. Now, obviously, if you're going out to build a marketplace and no one in your market has the issue of generating traction or demand for their business, then you won't really end up with a business. And that is something that you want to find out before you go ahead and invest time in building an online marketplace. So what I like to do is I just like to send out a quick cold email. I also like to jump on calls with people and just have a bit of a chat around how they're currently generating work, what works, what doesn't work, so that I can get direct feedback from them around how I can potentially shape my product when I start with the build phase. Now, I oftentimes hear that people have reservations on reaching out to potential suppliers before their marketplaces are built because they don't really have anything to show them yet. But if you want to get buy-in from your suppliers, don't build something that you think they'll want, build something that they actually need. And the only way you're going to find out what they need is actually jumping on a call with them and having a conversation with them around their business. That is something that I didn't really do when I started my first startup out of university, and that was the first lesson that I really learned the hard way, which is building a product or a marketplace in this case is not so much about you and your ideas, it's about your customers and the problems that they have in the day-to-day of running their business. And then once you've done all of those things, you are ready to potentially start building out your MVP. And there are a few little points that I want to make about building an MVP. So one thing that I have noticed about people jumping into building their first platform is that they feel that 99% of the success of your business depends on your platform, and ultimately the more features that you can add into your platform translates into more value that you deliver to your customers. But the one thing that I have learned over years of building online platforms is the simpler you keep it, the better. So when building features for the Unicorn Factory, the one question that I always ask myself is, what is the bare minimum that I can do that will help freelancers get more work? So instead of going through the process of building every possible feature idea that I have, I actually just start off with something simple, which might just be a landing page for every freelancer with a lead generation form. And then as soon as I start seeing how people actually use the platform, I start adding additional things if it helps freelancers get more work. I would recommend taking a similar approach when it comes to building out your site, for the sole reason that it will allow you to move faster, it will make it a lot easier for your customers to actually use your platform, and you'll be able to build things that people actually need rather than things that you think people need. Now, of course, the last question becomes, how do I actually get these sites up and running? So if you're in a situation where you currently can't code, you're pretty much down to two options. Option number one, you go and hire developers who can build it out for you. And honestly, you're going to be paying a lot of money. And obviously every single dollar that you put into your platform without knowing how you're going to make that money back is essentially risk that you are managing or mismanaging, depending on how you look at it. But a way that you can potentially get something up and running really quickly is by building out a platform with no-code tools. So that's what I did. I came from a non-developer background, and I basically found myself in a situation where I wanted to build a real simple MVP, and I used Webflow to get the first version of my platform up and running. After using Webflow for a while, I also discovered that there are a whole bunch of other tools that were created for non-developers like myself that allow me to do things like build a database or automate certain workflows. Now, I've made a little course on how you can go through the process of setting all these things up yourself. You can pretty much start at zero, so you don't have to have any experience in any of the tools. And what I'll do is I'll send you a template for an online marketplace built in Webflow and a whole bunch of videos like these that you can then kind of follow along to, and you can just go ahead and build your own marketplace. So I'll leave a link to the landing page to the course down below. If you are in a situation where you just want to get something up and running, you want to learn some cool skills along the way that you can use beyond just building online marketplaces, then this will definitely be something that will help you out a lot. I've basically taken all of the things that I've learned over the last 3 years and packaged them up into the most essential things that you're going to need to learn in order to get something up and running fast. I hope that these tips were useful. If they were, please leave a quick like on this video. It's always very much appreciated. Other than that, thank you very much for sticking around for the video, and I'll see you back here for the next one.